Commander Alistair Wilson's life is bound up with the warships that enter the great harbour at Portsmouth. This guided missile destroyer, HMS Sheffield, follows in the wake of Nelson's Victory, Queen Victoria's dreadnoughts, and Beatty's battleships. But this year, the Navy has suffered government cuts, and Portsmouth will lose part of its livelihood, which for centuries has come from the dockyard, which will close down in 1984. HMS Nelson is Commander Wilson's ship, a shore establishment which houses men whose ships are in the dockyard for refitting. It looks after welfare and married quarters and puts on popular shows like Navy Days. Portsmouth needs the Navy's spending power. Sailors and their families are also citizens. For centuries, too, the fleet has spent freely and boisterously in Pompey's pubs. So Nelson also musters the naval provo vans, which round up weekend revellers. Alistair brings Navy and City together. In the years of the press gangs, they were often at daggers drawn.
Good afternoon, Commander Wilson, HMS Nelson. I'd like to see your commander, please, because I want to fix up an it's a knockout between your ship's company and ours.
Nelson's sports facilities are also open to the city, but the cuts could see some world-renowned establishments closing down.
Concentrate on keeping that ball there all the time. No, they won't do it.
Like many serving officers, Alistair has come to know the city with affection.
Portsmouth has supported the Navy for almost 1,000 years. Everywhere you walk with history. I've served in and around Portsmouth, on and off, for 16 years, and local history is one of my spare time interests. Portsmouth is an island, linked by bridges to the hills beyond the marshes. King Richard founded a port here, which has lived by victualling and servicing the fleet. The ships brought prosperity, and outlying villages grew together to form a city of 200,000 people. The central area is almost the most densely populated in Britain, and the dockyard has been the largest source of work. The Solent tides wash round the city, and the great naval port, with neighbouring Gosport, dominates the coast of the island.
The laurel wreath in Victory's rigging marks Trafalgar Day. Services and parades are followed at night by the Navy's dinner in the wardroom mess of HMS Nelson. The cadets lining the steps are trained by Nelson's staff in their free time. Tonight they watch distinguished guests gather to honour the memory of Nelson and to speculate on their futures.
Hello, sir. Alice
Guest
Wilson.
of honour is Admiral of the Fleet, the Lord Hill Norton. As president of the mess, Alistair Wilson has invited 3 special guests who play a part in his tale. First, Miss Aileen Wyllie. She's the daughter of Portsmouth's celebrated marine painter. With her is Councillor George Byng, a man of ideas in the city and owner of a factory making corsets and brassieres.
Very nice to see you here this evening. Very nice to see you indeed. Hello, Councillor. Nice to see you again, too. Great to see you.
Admiral Tony Tippett is Flag Officer Portsmouth. He has to make decisions which will affect the streamlining of the Navy and the life of the city.
God bless our Queen, God bless our dinners, make us thankful. Amen.
Traditionally, we dine by candlelight. The portrait of Lord Nelson is ringed with laurel, and across a sea of faces is a picture of Lady Hamilton. We haven't got, I wish we did have, a picture of Lady Nelson. This year, the dinner is being filmed for the first time.
The meal is a complicated production to organise. The director, in a sense, is Fleet Chief Petty Officer Collick. He and his small team serve a meal which is suitably scaled down from the feasts of Edwardian days, not because of ministerial parsimony, but because these days the members have to pay for their dinners. Alistair's guests each have a link with the city and the Navy.
Miss Wyllie is dining under a great panorama of the Battle of Copenhagen painted by her brother. Her father, William Wyllie, was the city's foremost painter and engraver of life in Old Portsmouth. And Miss Wyllie is also an artist and a witness to more colourful yesterdays.
This was my father's home. It was the perfect place for him, and he built the tower on the top so that he could see from the nab tower right out at sea. This place gave him marvelous a chance of painting things as they passed away into the distance. He loved this city and painted the streets and all sorts of people and all sorts of occasions. His output was prodigious because he never stopped.
Wyllie was unregarded in his lifetime. He simply painted scenes that were commonplace to Portsmouth folk. He died 50 years ago, and his work has been rediscovered by the city, who have mounted an exhibition at which Aileen was an honored visitor. She painted this portrait of her father. In the 1920s, when the Navy was under the axe, he revived civic morale with heroic panoramas, and Aileen Wyllie helped him by mixing buckets of paint. His works found their way all over the world, although many were destroyed in Portsmouth's Blitz. And he chronicled the enshrining of HMS Victory in the dockyard.
The thing about his painting was the honesty of it. He wanted to get truth as near as he could get it. If he painted a battle, he wanted full description from the men that were there. And also, I think he was the link in the Navy from the Victorian times up to the time he died. And constant working. He was sketching all the time. When I was a girl, Portsmouth was a large victualling station for the services. There was a terrific amount of life about the city. Pubs exuding in every direction, sailors everywhere, and ceaseless boats bringing them in from the ships and taking them from one to another. This whole area is called Spice Island. I don't know where the spices came from. Right through the ages, it had been a place for men who hadn't been ashore for years and were ready for a good blind. But it certainly had a very varied life. The ladies of the town were certainly there. You often find couples behind the pillars. Every second house was a pub. In my youth, they were a friend.